Today, we're diving into the story of Yeshua and Chaya, a couple who got a huge YouTube following by living this simple, off-the-grid life. But what happens when that idyllic life just completely unravels into a super public, super messy online feud? Let's get into it. You know, the whole premise was a dream for a lot of people. A couple just escaping it all, building a life from scratch out in the woods, and sharing their journey. But that picture-perfect image has now totally imploded into this brutal public fight, with accusations just flying back and forth for the whole world to see. And this quote right here, from a podcast that covered all the drama, it really hits the nail on the head. The one word that just keeps coming up over and over again is toxic. So you have to ask, how did this off-the-grid fantasy turn into such an absolute online nightmare? Okay, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll look at the breakup itself. Then, the crazy war of accusations that blew up right after. Next, how the whole feud got even bigger when other people jumped in. And finally, we'll tackle the big question. Is any of this actually real, or is it all just a performance? All right, so first up, let's set the stage and actually meet the main characters in this whole drama. So on one side, you've got Yeshua. He built his entire channel around these incredible bushcraft skills. I mean, building a whole cabin, furniture, you name it, out in the forest. And then you have Chaya, his partner who joined him in this lifestyle. She's got her own YouTube channel, too. They'd been on again, off again since about 2022. So when they broke up this last time, it was, well, anything but quiet. Instead of handling it privately, it just ignited this massive firestorm. Both of them ran straight to their YouTube channels to air every single piece of dirty laundry, turning their personal fallout into a public show for all their followers. And this is where things get really, really messy. It becomes a full-blown war of accusations. So let's lay out the claims from each side so you can see for yourself just how personal and nasty this whole thing got. So, right out of the gate, they started hitting each other where it hurts. Parenting. Yeshua gets on camera and accuses Chaya of basically abandoning her young son to come live with him. Well, Chaya fires back with a bombshell allegation that Yeshua himself is a father to 3 kids with 2 different women and that he's the one who doesn't take care of them. And from there, it just gets even more personal. I mean, the character attacks were intense. Yeshua starts calling Chaya disloyal, schizophrenic, and crazy, and says she betrayed him by secretly recording him. But Chaya comes back saying no, he's the one who cheats, that he has plenty of women. And then she makes an even more serious claim, that he was violent and abusive, and that's the real reason she had to leave. And this just shows you how petty it all became. I mean, no detail was too small to be turned into a weapon. Yeshua claims that after they split up, Chaya was living behind a McDonald's and wasn't bathing. Chaya's response? To go after his hygiene, saying he smelled funky or musty and that she couldn't stand his diet of meat sandwiches all day. And just when you think this couldn't possibly get any messier, a third person enters the chat. Another YouTuber jumps into the fight, not just to comment, but to pour a whole lot of gasoline on an already raging fire. Enter a YouTuber named Pa, and man, he did not hold back. This quote from him pretty much sums up his whole take. He says, Yeshua isn't someone to look up to, but more like a train wreck that people find entertaining to watch. Pew basically came with a whole list of grievances. He claimed Yeshua was illegally squatting on state land in Tennessee, that his entire off-grid persona was just a fake act for views. He even echoed Chaya's claims about Yeshua neglecting his kids. He just flat out called him lazy, trifling, and a mockery. So what does Yeshua do? He basically just blows him off. He refuses to engage with any of the actual criticisms and just chucks it all up to Puhai being jealous of his bigger subscriber count. Instead of even using his name, Yeshua would just call him stuff like Beluga or Mr. Rogers. All of this, the drama, the accusations, the name-calling, it makes you wonder, right? What are we actually watching here? And this is where we have to ask the really big question about performance versus reality. So, is any of this for real? Is this a genuine off-grid lifestyle and a real relationship collapsing in on itself? Or is it all just an elaborate performance for the clicks? And man, when you start looking closer, the cracks really start to show. On camera, Yeshua claims he's a 19-year-old, but whoops, there's a mugshot that seems to confirm he's actually 37. He talks all the time about wanting to start a family, but he's accused of not supporting the 3 kids he might already have. Even the story about his baby wolf has holes in it. And this whole independent survivalist thing, it's challenged by claims he's just squatting and living off viewer donations. And this leads to the most cynical take of all, which comes from Pew. He speculates that the entire thing, the breakup, the drama, the name-calling, all of it, is a calculated performance, a sham, designed specifically to stir up controversy and ultimately to scam followers out of their money. And look, you gotta follow the money, right? Yeshua has his Cash App, his Venmo, and his P.O. Box plastered right there in his bio for donations. He even accused Chaya of trying to get rich off his success. It's pretty clear that the more drama there is, the more views they get, the more engagement they get, and the more potential there is for donations to roll in. So it all leaves you with this one big question. In this online world where drama literally pays the bills, what does authenticity even mean anymore? It makes you think that maybe, just maybe, in the creator economy, the most convincing performance of all is authenticity itself.